welcome back for another video of the 13 Ghost series. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. And today we are going to be talking about the Juggernaut. I thought I would give you one super good one in this process instead of leaving every single one of them for dead last to be decent. So let's get into it, shall we? So the Juggernaut's actual name is called Horace Breaker Mahoney. And he is actually played by a gentleman called John DeSantis, who is actually pretty dang tall in real life too, if you have ever seen a picture of him. If not, yeah, pretty dang tall, am I right? So I have mixed feelings when it comes to the Juggernaut, and when I explain why I like, you know, his story and everything like that, it will kind of explain why I have mixed feelings. And when I mean mixed feelings, I mean like you love to hate him, but you really hate to love him. And because you feel bad for him, but then at the same time you're like, you're a serial killer. This is how my brain thinks a lot, and it drives me insane. So bear with me when I'm explaining this, and maybe you feel the same way too. And if you do, or don't, whatever, leave it in the comment box. Let me know how you feel about this guy, okay? So let's get more into details about him right now. So he stood at a good 7 feet tall once he finally hit his peak at a very hugely grotesque height, and he was very ostracized when he was growing up. Now, his mother ended up abandoning him, and his dad ended up taking him in and raising him from birth. His dad ended up putting him to work in the junkyard crushing cars all his life. That's all he knew. So when his father ended up passing away, he lost himself. He didn't know how to take care of himself. He did have some mental issues. So when it came to, you know, growing up, trying to, I guess, fit in with society, he didn't know how to. So he basically ended up just going mad, is what ended up happening. Alright? Which, every now and then, we all can understand that. The dude just went completely fucking bonkers, is what ended up happening. So he ended up getting hitchhikers, or any female hitchhikers to be precise, and would drive them back to his junkyard, and I think you can pretty much guess what ends up happening there. But if you don't know what ended up happening there, it was very grotesque sight. So this guy would actually take these women and tear them apart with his freaking bare hands, and ended up feeding them to his dogs. Because that's what we need to do. That's how you feed them. But unfortunately, one day he just slightly ended up slipping up. Okay, not slightly, big slightly. There was a undercover female police officer, because they realized all these freaking female hitchhikers all of a sudden are just drastically disappearing out of nowhere all of a sudden. So they wanted to figure out what the hell is happening. So she went undercover, ended up getting picked up by him. When they ended up getting back to the junkyard, she called the SWAT team and backup and everything, and so they ended up surrounding the junkyard. And since he was such a huge individual, instead of doing direct contact, what they did is they struck the junkyard and just basically had the junkyard collapse. And that's how they were able to basically arrest the giant, is what they would say. And that's how they were able to do it, because let's be honest, granted, you know, they're the SWAT team, they have guns and everything, but that dude was massive, and the crap that he was able to do, it's like, would guns even take care of that business? I don't know. So when they ended up handcuffing him, Horace ended up breaking out of them. Shocker. So 3 SWAT people ended up losing their lives, and it took 5 SWAT guys just letting out every single bullet that they possibly have on him, and he ended up going down like a sack of potatoes super quickly. But he was not dead. Yeah, get that. Pulled every round that they could possibly think of, 5 of them, and the sucker still didn't go down. Hence what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Exactly what I said. Do they really think that would have been the case? They tried. But when he finally did go completely down, just to triple check and make sure that the guy didn't get back up, they fired another round. So you gotta think, 5 SWAT guys. All 5 went into him. So they're like, I don't feel like that's safe enough. So let's just take more rounds. So that's 5 rounds that they ended up loading on him, just to make sure that that sucker did not get up whatso freaking ever. And it did the trick, or else he wouldn't be a ghost. Ain't I right? Or ain't I not right? Let's be honest here. But his ghost persona shows bullet holes all over his clothing. So you can automatically tell that is how they ended up finishing him off. And goes to show what I was saying. Like I was saying in, what was it? The Great Child Harold, I believe is what his name was in there. Yeah, Harold. When he died, he was mutilated. But yet there was vomit all over him because that was how his original story played out. But at least with the Juggernaut, bullet holes, that's how he went. Point blank, period, cut. So when you end up hearing the Juggernaut approach, instead of like some crazy sound like dun 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 because of how big he is, all you actually hear is whispers, which they believe is like whispers of his victims or something of some sort. I don't know. But every single time you see the Juggernaut approach, all you hear is whispers of him when he ends up approaching, which is kind of creepy in a way. But at the same time, if you don't see the Juggernaut straight off and all you hear is whispering, you don't think very much until this big old dude shows up out of nowhere and you're like, hell, I'm done. Screw this. Here, let me do it for you because I'd rather not die the way Dennis died. So, once again, like every other one of them, they end up having a symbol. Well, his symbol means Celsior, which Celsior means Titan, which we could all know why his name is Titan, or Celsior, why his symbol says that, is because it's referring to his size and his strength because he was a big-ass dude. Big dude. Big dude. Hence why. Get it? Okay, carrying on then. So, other than the jackal, let me think. Yeah, other than okay, criminal life, yes. But when it comes to murdering people, no, wait, never mind. The hammer doesn't do that. Ignore me. So, other than the jackal, the Juggernaut is the only other one that actually has a criminal life, or a proven criminal in life. Like, for instance, Harold, yeah, you would say he was a criminal in the end, but the reason why he did it is because his mother ended up dying. So, I guess you could say it's justified. Really isn't, but justified. But the Juggernaut did it for shits and giggles. Same with the Jackal. He does what he does, which you'll find out in the video, for shits and giggles type situation. You know, criminal, negligent type things. They don't have a reason for what they're doing. Granted, you shouldn't have a reason all around in general for killing people, but some people do. Some people have motives as to why they want to. Some of them are understandable, others are not so much. Just, yeah. Also, fun fact, Dennis said that he is the only known ghost that actually needed some kind of lure to lure him in, like bait-wise, which I understand why. And he is the only ghost that actually still killed after he was dead. Anybody who would end up going into that junkyard was screwed because his spirit just lingered there the whole entire time after death. Which, who the hell knows? I guess it's better than hell. Or he just couldn't figure out, the way down there, per se. I just think it would be one-way ticket. And haven't you ever watched Drag Me to Hell? Don't they just drag you then? I don't know, and I don't want to find out, so we're not gonna. So in the first early drafts, his first name was actually going to be Frank Mahoney. I actually think it was a wise choice that they changed it from Frank Mahoney, because it just doesn't roll off the tongue so much as all the other ones do, in my opinion. Okay, in my opinion, that's what I think. So his file is represented by gunshot shells. Say that 10 times. But that one makes sense, doesn't it? Why? Because that's how he died. Oh my lord. Also, he is probably one of the most known violent ghosts, other than the Jackal. Well, okay, the Hammer too, but him and the Jackal are probably the most known violent ones out of all of the 13 ghosts. Well, technically 12, because, the 13th one never ended up happening. You know. And I am terribly sorry, my hair is just out of whack. I really just did not have the effort to try to fix it. I was just not having it. No, not today. Not today, son, not today. And I'm terribly sorry if you hear people in the background. I live with a lot of people, and very thin walls. So bear with me if you hear a little bit. I can't control that like I could, but I can't, so I won't. So during the process of doing his makeup, it would take roughly about 3 to 3.5 hours to actually fully do his makeup. And it took roughly, after a while, 2 hours to take his fully makeup off. Can you imagine sitting in the chair for 3.5 hours doing that? I've put prosthetics on, people. The process is ridiculous. Granted, the end result is phenomenal, but the process is just insanely boring. And you have to stay so still and all of that crap. So I can't imagine 3.5 hours. Not let alone 2 hours to take the damn thing off. That stuff hurts if you don't do it right. Trying to pull it off just by itself, no bueno. That shit pulls your skin. It can take your skin off. So don't do it. Okay? Learn from me. Don't do it. So his makeup prosthetic pretty much was everything up to here. And they were all in little itty bitty pieces to get assembled. So his bodysuit would be one thing, his neck piece would be another. Went from his mouth to his ears to his nose piece. They were all separate, putting them on. To be quite honest, it was probably the best situation. So I see from my point of view. I understand why they did it. I can't imagine doing it as a one full piece. Because that would just take a lot of time. Yeah, that would just take a lot of time all around in general, because I would think, granted, you would think putting them all on little at a time would take longer, but trying to put one piece on and make it look blended and fluent and blend with the rest of the body and blend with the skin and all that stuff. Now, granted, I am no expert, but that sounds like it would be one hell of a time, okay? That's all I'm gonna say about that. But anyway, those are some fun facts. I don't know if you would say fun. Okay, those are some twisted facts. There you go. There are some twisted facts of the Juggernaut for you. If you guys know any more about the Juggernaut that I don't know already, which is very hard, but probable, I guess. Leave it in the comments down below. You know, if you really liked this video, and I'm sorry if it sounded like I was a little bit here, there, and everywhere, because to be quite honest, I think this contact is getting to me. Just a little bit, just a little bit. I think it's telling me, save me, Seymour. Get me out of this gosh darn eyeball. So that's what I'm gonna do after this, is take this out real quick because it's pissing me off. But on side note, subscribe if you liked it. Comment anything if you don't know something that, you know, or if you do know something that I don't know. My bad. And give this a thumbs up. So until next time, my pretties, I will be seeing you guys again in another video for another 13 ghost video. And whatever else shenanigans I have going on that I feel like. I don't know, do you have any ideas what I should do? What you think I would do good at? 'Cause I don't know. Bye-bye.